89. The yellow lion's spirit in vain gives the muckrake feast. Gold, wood, and earth disturb with a scheme Mount Leopard's head. We were telling you about those several ironsmiths, who had been hard at work for several days and therefore slept soundly at night. By morning, when they rose to resume their heating and hammering, they discovered that the 3 weapons in the tent had vanished. Dumbfounded and panic-stricken, they searched all over the place and ran into the 3 young princes, who were walking out from the palace to inspect the work. The ironsmiths all kowtowed and said, "O young lords, we do not know where the weapons of the divine masters have gone." Shaken by the words, the young princes said, "Perhaps the masters themselves put the weapons away at night." They dashed over to the gauze drying pavilion and saw that the white horse was still tethered at the corridor. Unable to contain themselves, they cried, "Masters, are you still sleeping?" "We're up," replied Shamunk as he opened the door to let the princes in. When they looked around and did not see the weapons, one of them asked nervously, "Did the masters take back their weapons?" "No, we didn't," said Pilgrim, jumping up. "Those 3 weapons of yours," said another prince. "All vanished during the night." Scrambling up hurriedly, 8 Rules asked, "Is my rake there?" Another young prince said, "When we 3 came out just now, we saw people searching all over, but they couldn't find them. Your disciples suspect that the weapons may already have been taken back by the masters, and that's why we've come to ask you. Since the treasures of our teachers can grow or shrink, I wonder if you haven't concealed them on your bodies again, just to make fun of your disciples." "Really, we have not taken them back," said Pilgrim. "Let's all go look for them." They all went to the tent in the courtyard, but there was no trace of the weapons. "Those ironsmiths must have stolen them," said 8 Rules. "Bring out the weapons quickly. A moment's delay and you'll be beaten to death." Beaten to death. Horrified, the ironsmiths kowtowed and shed tears, saying, "Holy Fathers, we have been working so hard these last few days that we all slept through the night. By morning, when we got up, the weapons were gone. We are all mortal men. How could we even have moved them? We beg you, Holy Father, to spare our lives. Please spare our lives." Pilgrim said nothing in reply. Greatly annoyed, he muttered to himself, "This is our fault. Once they had copied the forms, we should have taken the weapons back. Why did we leave them here like that? Those treasures generate tremendous radiance and luminous colors. That must have disturbed some wicked person who came and stole them during the night." "What are you saying, elder brother?" asked 8 Rules, refusing to believe him. "It's such a peaceful region here. This is no hollow mountain on the rustic countryside. How could there be any wicked people? It has to be the greed of those ironsmiths. When they saw the radiance of our weapons, they knew that these were treasures. They must have left the palace during the night and banded together with others. They must have dragged and hauled our weapons away. Let's seize them now. Let's beat them." The ironsmiths could only kowtow and swear their denial. In the midst of all this commotion, the old prince came out. When he learned what had taken place, his face, too, was drained of color. He brooded for a long time and then said, "The weapons of the divine masters are not like those of common mortals. Scores, or even hundreds of men could not unlodge them or move them. Moreover, we have governed this city for almost 5 generations already. Not that we wish to brag or boast, but we do enjoy quite a virtuous reputation beyond these palace walls. The people of this city, be they civilians, soldiers, or artisans, do have respect for the laws of ours. They'd never dare be so unscrupulous. I beg the divine masters to re-examine the matter." "There's no need to re-examine anything," replied Pilgrim, laughing. "Nor need we persist in putting the blame on the ironsmiths. Let me ask your highness, are there any mountain forests and monstrous fiends around this city of yours? This question of the divine master is most reasonable," said the prince. "There is a Leopard's Head mountain north of our city, and there is also a tiger's mouth cave in it. People have frequently claimed that there are immortals in the cave, but some say also that tigers, wolves, and monstrous fiends live there. We have not been able to determine exactly what creatures there are. No need to say any more," said Pilgrim, chuckling. "It must be some wicked creatures there who, having discovered our treasures, stole them during the night." He then called out, "8 rules, Shamunk, stay here to guard master and protect the city. Let old monkey go and look for our weapons." He also instructed the ironsmiths not to put out the fire in the furnace so that they could continue to forge the prince's weapons. Dear Monkey King. After taking leave of Tripitaka, he vanished completely from sight. Instantly he was standing on the Leopard's Head mountain, for it was, you see, no more than 30 miles from the city. When he looked around on the peak, he saw that indeed there was a certain aura of monsters. Truly, a lengthy dragon pulse. A region vast and wide. Pointed peaks, erect, that puncture the sky. Sloping streams, dark and deep, that swiftly flow. Before the mounts a carpet of jade grass. Behind the mounts the brocade of rare blooms. Aged pines and cypresses. Ancient trees and bamboos. Crows and magpies in confusion fly and cry. Wild apes and cranes all screech and squall. Below the hanging ledge, pairs and pairs of deer. Before the sheer cliff, badgers and foxes in twos. The dragon approaching rises and falls. With 9 turns and 9 bends comes the earth pulse. Jade Flower District is where the ranges meet. A place that prospers in 10,000 years. As Pilgrim stared at the scenery, he suddenly heard someone speaking from behind the mountain. Turning quickly to look, he found 2 wolf-headed fiends walking toward the northwest, chatting loudly. These have to be fiendish creatures out patrolling the mountain, mused Pilgrim. Let old monkey follow them and hear what they have to say. Making the magic sign with his fingers, he recited a spell and, with one shake of his torso, changed into a little butterfly. With outstretched wings, he soared and turned to catch up with them. In truth, it was quite a model of transformation. 2 wings gossamery. Twin feelers silvery. Aloft the wind he darts away. Or dances slowly through the day. The waters and walls so nimbly he'll skirt. With fragrant catkins his delights to flirt. Scents of fresh flowers his airy self most please. His graceful form unfolds with greatest ease. Wings aflutter, he alighted on the head of one of the monster spirits to eavesdrop on them. All of a sudden, the monster said, "Second elder brother, our great king has had several pieces of good luck. Last month he got himself a beautiful lady, who has been giving him a good time in the cave. Then last night he acquired these 3 weapons, and they're truly priceless treasures. Tomorrow he plans to give a banquet at this so-called Muckrake festival. All of us are going to enjoy ourselves. We're quite lucky, too," said the other one. "We have these 20 taels of silver to take to buy hogs and sheep. When we reach the Northwest Market, let's have a few bottles of wine first. Let's skim 2 or 3 taels off the top so that we can buy a cotton jacket for winter. Won't that be nice?" The 2 fiends thus chatted and giggled as they sped along the main road. When Pilgrim heard that there was to be a Muckrake festival, he was secretly pleased. He would have slain the fiends, but he had no weapon, and in any case he felt that they were not responsible for the theft. Flying ahead of them, therefore, he resumed his original form and stood still by the road. He waited until those 2 fiends had almost reached him and then suddenly spat a mouthful of magic saliva onto them, crying, "Oh hum, Ali." At once this magic of immobilization rendered those 2 wolf-headed spirits completely motionless, eyes unblinking, they could not even open the mouths. Body upright, their 2 legs stood absolutely still. Then Pilgrim pushed both of them over, searched through their clothes, and did indeed find the 20 taels of silver wrapped in a little bag tied to the belt around one of their waists. Each of them also had a white lacquered tablet hanging on his belt. On one was the inscription, "Shifty and Freaky," and on the other, Freaky and Shifty. Dear great sage. He took their silver and untied their tablets, then strode back to the city. When he arrived at the royal residence, he gave a thorough account to the prince, the Tang monk, the various officials, and the artisans. It must be, said 8 Rules, chuckling. Old Hog's treasure that is emitting such great radiance that they have to buy hogs and sheep to feast and celebrate. Now how are we going to get it back? Pilgrim said. All 3 of us brothers ought to go there. The silver should be given to our own artisans as a reward. Let's ask His Highness for a few sheep and hogs. 8 Rules, you change into the form of Shifty and Freaky, and I'll change into the form of Freaky and Shifty. Sha Monk can disguise himself as a trader of sheep and hogs. We'll enter the Tiger's Mouth cave that way. When we have the chance, each of us will grab our own weapon and finish off those monstrous deviates. Then we can be on our way. Marvelous. 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 Laughed Sha Monk. We shouldn't delay. Let's go. The old prince indeed agreed to his scheme, and asked one of his stewards to purchase about 7 hogs and 4 or 5 sheep. The 3 brothers took leave of their master and went out of the city to exercise their magic powers. Elder brother, said 8 Rules. Since I have never laid eyes on that Shifty and Freaky, how could I change into his form?